Firstly, I'd like to welcome you all to this Brooke College Open Day, albeit a virtual one. I'm Mike Oliver, the college's principal. I've been teaching and in education for something approaching 40 years. Firstly, as a teacher of mathematics and a residential boarding house tutor, then as a housemaster of a boys' boarding house of 72 lads aged 13 to 18. After leaving my house, I moved into senior leadership as an assistant head. From here, I secured my first headship as the founding head and principal of Epsom College in Malaysia before moving back to England to take up the principal's position here in 2016. In addition to my schoolwork, I've been an ISI inspector since 2004. I serve on the Independent Schools Association Executive Committee for Inspections and the Executive Committee of the Boarding Schools Association. I hope, therefore, that you can understand that along with my outstanding senior leadership team, amazing teachers and residential staff, alongside all of our hardworking support staff in marketing, recruitment, grounds care, maintenance, catering, and football academy, choosing Brooke College as the school to send your children to means you're making an excellent choice, and the experience of all those responsible for the care and education of your children is first class. We hope that our open day will give you a flavour of what we're about, our unique position with the UK boarding school market, and where we see ourselves as we move forward. If you have any questions as we progress, please use the email link to Wiley Wright. Those questions will be dealt with at the end of each section of our open day presentation. Following on from my presentation, we will hear from Mr. Wiley Wright, Director of Summer School, and Mr. Giles Williams, our Managing Director. Each will explain a little bit more about aspects of the college life related to our pastoral and co-curricular programs, as well as the football academy, admissions, and progression. As already mentioned, there will be email links on this presentation as we move along, so do please send in your questions, which we will respond to in real time at the end of each section. For now, I want to talk to you about the academic side of the college, progression through the school, and onto higher education or employment. Historically, when we were a traditional 14 to 19 college, which is non-selective, it was quite difficult for our pupils to do themselves justice with their GCSE results, especially given the fact that our pupils are all international and they started their course with no background in the national curriculum from age 11 to 13. We altered that 3 years ago, and we now have Key Stage 3 intake, which is preparing our pupils for GCSEs and improving levels of spoken and written English. The addition of vice principal and heads of faculty have led to a drive to raise standards of teaching and learning with faculty MOTs, like little mini inspections, a quality assurance program, work scrutiny, staff appraisal, baseline testing, and personal tutors. Whilst the improvements are still working their way through the year groups, we have seen a near trebling of the GCSE pass rate over the past 3 years, 100% pass rate at A-level, and 3 Oxbridge offers, 2 to Oxford and 1 to Cambridge, again over the last 3 years. Our University Foundation programme has undergone a massive overhaul to retain its university accreditation, not only in the UK, but increasingly overseas as well. Our most recent accreditation came from Exeter University only last summer. With the addition of baseline testing to our academic programme, we have been able to more accurately track and monitor pupils' progress and support with appropriate intervention those found not to be meeting their targets. This has seen a 3-year rise in our value-added residual, all of which indicates a rise in pass grades and improved performances of teaching and learning. We have continued to invest in new classrooms, technology, and teaching resources. Our new science facility is barely a year old and boasts 8 new laboratories, 2 each for biology, chemistry, ICT, and physics. The building is also equipped with lab prep rooms, staff area, toilet facilities for staff and pupils. Our next phase of development will see new classrooms for much of the humanities, mathematics, and art. Our academic programme starts with a broad-ranging curriculum for our Key Stage 3 pupils, those boys and girls aged 11 to 14. This places a key focus on building a sure foundation upon which to build future academic success at GCSE, A-level and university foundation level. Throughout all of our age groups and in parallel with our core program, we also run an excellent intensive English faculty, which brings pupils with little or no English up to a standard where they can then access the main curriculum. And through the international renowned IELTS program run by the British Council, we enable our overseas pupils to reach the entry level required for British universities. After Key Stage 3, our pupils can follow a 2-year GCSE program, which focuses on a core of English, mathematics and science, alongside options from social science, humanities and the arts. We also offer a 1-year GCSE program with fewer subjects, but keeping the core subjects intact. Following on from GCSE, our pupils follow the A-level program, so much favoured by British universities and accepted worldwide as a gold standard with which to enter university. Some pupils join us for the A-level program at 16, others join to follow our university foundation program. Within the overarching academic program, we also have a dedicated SEND team to support those with learning difficulties such as dyslexia. We also look to stretch our most able with things like the Senior and Inter Mathematics Challenge, Olympiads, Physics and Chemistry Olympiads. We also have introduced the Extended Project Qualification, the EPQ, much favoured by the Russell Group of Universities as a genuine discriminator for academic excellence. Our University Foundation Programme has accreditation from over 85 British universities, as I mentioned earlier, increasingly from other universities around the world. This course has core mathematics and communication skills as compulsory modules, along with a further 8 modules tailored for your proposed career pathway. For instance, for the budding engineer, it could be the 2 core subjects plus further mathematics, science mathematics, and physics. For the entrepreneurs, we have accounting, economics, and business. In addition to that, we have subjects like law, sociology, psychology, and many more through arts and humanities. The University Foundation Programme course within the UK is a level 3 qualification, i.e. one set at A-level standard and deemed suitable for entry to university. It is a growing qualification. Indeed, it now outnumbers the International Baccalaureate with 30,000 UFB pupils in the UK compared to 5,000 IB diploma candidates. Our program has been adopted by nearly 10 other schools globally, such is its academic standing and rigour. Earlier on, I mentioned progression in my introduction, and I want to elaborate a little bit on this as well. Throughout a pupil's time at Brooke House College, they are supported by a personal academic tutor who monitors progress, sets targets for further progress to be made based on national normalised baseline testing. This helps us track and monitor progress from age 11 to 19, each step along the way through Key Stage 3 to A-level, and prepares our pupils for life after Brooke House College. We have a dedicated careers and higher education department, which offers a whole series of guidance and step-by-step measures to navigate the UCAS process. We provide through our returning alumni scheme, former pupils to come to talk to our existing ones about degree courses, life at university, pitfalls to avoid, and so on. We run an annual university fair. We have pupils attend university open days and have a dedicated area where pupils can read prospectuses or go online for further information. Increasingly, as the world shrinks with connectivity, our pupils are looking not just for British universities, but to move on to travel to universities around the world. We provide tuition for SATs. We provide practice interviews. We support those who are seeking sports scholarships, particularly to American universities. Indeed, our recent collaboration with SportsSync USA has further strengthened this provision. Whilst our football provision is widely regarded as the best school provision in the country, with 4 national titles over the past 2 seasons, 15 players signing professional contracts last year, and 10 being selected to represent their country, not everyone will get that dream contract of £300,000 a week at Manchester United. This is why we impress upon our boys and girls the importance of their education. Pupils will receive a very good Key Stage 3, GCSE, A-level and UFP education. Indeed, they may well sign that dream contract, but if not, their A-levels and UFP will grant them access to some of the best universities in the world. Over the past 3 years, even with our non-selective intake, we have secured 3 places to Oxbridge colleges and many more to Russell Group universities. In conclusion, our EAL pupils receive almost individual tuition for the Cambridge language examinations and IELTS. Our footballers and non-footballers have access to Key Stage 3, GCSEs, A-levels and UFP, which will grant them entry to the best universities, while still enabling the footballers to demonstrate excellence on and off the pitch. If there are any questions that need answering on academic matters that have been emailed to Wiley, I'm more than happy to answer them now. Alternatively, they can be responded to later.
So there's no questions just now, Mr. Oliver?
Okay, in which case then I'll hand over to you, Wiley, who will explain a little bit about our pastoral system, including the activities, co-curricular program, medical provision, as well as our outstanding boarding, graded excellent at our last fully integrated ISI inspection.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. As Mr. Oliver mentioned, I'm going to talk to you about the pastoral aspect of the college. So first, some information about catering and boarding. In terms of accommodation, the majority of the students with us are boarding students, so they live here, okay? We split the boys and girls into separate buildings, and we also make it age appropriate. So there should not really be any more than a 2-year age difference from the oldest and youngest boy or girl in each of the houses. There's different types of rooms, either single or twin bedrooms. And some of them are en suite, meaning there's a bathroom and shower inside the room. For those that don't have en suite, they share their facilities on the corridor with around 5 or 6 other students. Now, all of the accommodation have residential members of staff that live in the accommodation with the students. They also almost become the parents away from home. Depending on the size of the house, there could be 1 or 2 residential members of staff, up to the largest house with 4 or 5 residential members of staff. Regardless of where the students are staying at Brooke House, they should have access to the same common facilities. So they'll have their either a single room or their twin bedroom. They'll have access to common room facilities with pool tables, ping pong, Sky television, for example. They'll have small kitchens where they can do preparation for, where they can prepare some snacks. For the students that are under 18, it is only snack preparation, so maybe microwaves, kettles and toasters. For the students that are 18 plus and in the over 18 accommodation, they have fully operational kitchens, so they can cook for themselves at home if they choose to do so. All of the accommodation will also have Wi-Fi facilities and laundry machines, okay? In terms of catering, regardless if the student is 18 or under 18, all meals are available to all students in the central dining room. Monday to Friday, there's 3 cooked meals each day. And on Saturday and Sunday, there's brunch and evening meal. We try and cater for our international community. So yes, of course, you come to the UK, we want to let you try some traditional British dishes, but we also want to try and recreate some of the meals you would hope to have if you are still at home. The menus are carefully planned so that they're balanced. There's different types of meats and vegetables, salads. The kitchen staff also work quite closely with the football academy staff so that on the menus each day, there's little football symbols next to some of the meals or the healthier options that the coaches would suggest is better for the boys there. Now, in terms of accommodation, I have got some examples of accommodation here, just to give you an idea. So the first room you're seeing there is just a single bedroom. It's en suite. So this is the house for girls that are 15 to 17 years old. It's big enough for about 20, 25 girls. and there's two residential tutors that stay there. So that gives you an idea of the single ensuite room. You then have an example of a standard single bedroom. This is a bedroom from one of the over 18 aged properties. So this is the apartment where 3 students share the apartment, share the kitchen and the living space, and the bathroom facilities on the corner, and then 3 single rooms there. Put that, and then you have another example of this is example of a twin bedroom. This is the house for the boys that are 15 to 17 years old. This is predominantly where the football academy are based. This is Northampton House. So there's a twin room here. These boys also have a bathroom inside the room, but then they share the shower facilities on the corridor with other students. Northampton House is the kind of base for the football academy. The coaches have their office there as well. And it's also where the college gym is. So the boys there have access to it kind of round the clock, and then other students are able to access the gym as part of the activity and extracurricular program. And other football academy students that live in other accommodation have rotated sessions for them to go and use the gym as well. Okay, just 3 examples of the different types of accommodation we offer. Now, in terms of, oops, sorry, get ahead of myself. In terms of pastoral care, as I mentioned, you've got the residential members of staff that almost become the parents away from home. But there's also 24-hour support from the head of boarding. He carries the emergency kind of college telephones, so that if anything should come up and you aren't easily able to get in touch with a residential tutor, you can call him. There's other people to help support your health and your mental health throughout your stay here. We have our medical centre, and we've got a registered and qualified nurse, Linda. She is based in the medical centre Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, but then she's also a residential member of staff, so that should emergencies take place in the evenings or at the weekends, she's available to be called by the residential staff in the houses to come and help assist. In the medical centre, we also have a full-time sports therapist, and he's supported by another part-time sports therapist. They spend quite a lot of time with the football academy students, dealing with their well-being and any injuries that they may occur. The sports therapists are also available to non-football academy students should they need it. Linda, the nurse, registers all students when they arrive with the local medical centre, meaning that should she think it's appropriate for you to see a doctor rather than just herself, she's able to then make appointments. Linda is also the lady that would be responsible for helping students with dental appointments or going to the opticians, for example. Okay. And then, as Mr. Oliver was saying slightly earlier about baseline testing and personal tutor groups, all of the students are part of a personal tutor group that they meet in the morning, and that tutor is looking after them in terms of academic matters and baseline testing and progression, but then there's another kind of layer of pastoral support. So there's another person that the students can talk to should they need to. Okay. And then let me just move this forward. So the activity program. So football academy students are occupied quite heavily all afternoons with matches and training and the gym sessions. For non-football academy students, they have lessons all day on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoon, they have the co-curricular program, which takes place from around 2 o'clock until the end of the afternoon. There's different activities that they can do there. You see some pictures there of the knitting club, or the ping pong club. There's sports afternoons every Wednesday afternoon, where they can choose from badminton, tennis, football, for example. We're able to cater for some more niche requirements or requests, sorry. We've had students before that have gone off to horse riding, to go-karting, to golf, taekwondo. All of those are possible within our local time as well. You can also see in the picture the boys in the countryside. They're completing the Duke of Edinburgh Award. So this is an award that is kind of like the highest level of youth achievement award in the UK. And the students complete different sections. They improve in a sport, in a new skill. They give up some of their time to volunteer in the local community, and then they do expeditions. So this group in this picture are in Wales, in Snowdonia, Wales, and they were gold level, and they're doing a 5-day expedition. So they're planning the routes, they're hiking, trekking, and then camping overnight. And as part of that, you see in the top left-hand corner, they do some sessions in the evenings and weekends to train up to that. So you can see those boys, a bronze group from this year, are doing some first aid, some CPR training there. So that gives you an overview of kind of term time extracurricular. Outside of that, we also sometimes offer trips to Europe. So we have done trips before over long weekends or during half terms to places like Amsterdam, Paris, and Rome. We also offer on an optional basis for students to go and visit other places inside the UK. So it could be something like Alton Towers theme park, could be day trips to London to some of the attractions, or overnight visits to places like York in the north of England or Edinburgh in Scotland. All of these have taken place over the last 3-4 years. Okay. Sorry. So I will answer any questions that have come through about co-curricular. One moment. So no, there's no questions just now. So that's so what I'll do now is I introduce Giles Williams, our managing director, and he's going to talk to you about Football Academy and the admissions process. So thanks, Giles.
Many thanks, Wiley. Good afternoon to everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you. It's a shame that we have to do these things currently virtually under the scenario with the pandemic, but we hope that we may see some of you in Market Harborough face-to-face before too long. To begin talking about the Football Academy, there's a short video which has been put together with a few words by our Football Academy assistant manager, Mr. Niall O'Grady. So we're going to hear from Niall first before I give a brief overview of the Football Academy and what I do within it.
Hello everyone, my name is Niall O'Grady. I'm the Assistant Football Academy Manager here at Brooke House College. Brooke House College now has close to 200 student players within the academy, boys and girls from the ages of 11 to 19 years old. Within that, we have players of all abilities from what we class as our elite level all the way to our development grassroots level. The aim is to increase everybody's footballing ability and maximise potential within the academy. We have high standards here and a high level of training, with training from Monday to Friday with the option for Saturday morning training as well. Within this, you would get up in the morning on a Monday as a typical day, you would go to have your breakfast, you would then complete lessons until 2:15 in the afternoon. From there, what you would do is you'd get your full Brooke House Academy training kit, you would go down on our private buses to our training facility. There at our training facility, you will know which area you're going to train in with today with your squad and age group. Within that then, you would go out, you would do your pre-warm-up exercises into the warm-up, then into your main session, which will finish at 4:30. Then every player from that individual learning plan will go to complete that extra individual work by themselves or in small groups with players with similar objectives. Once training is finished, you'd go back up to the college, you'd get the opportunity to shower before your evening meal. From there then, you would go to do study time and then have free time. It's a busy schedule here at Brooke House to maximise potential and maximise performance here at the college.
So as you heard from Niall, we pride ourselves on the standards we set. I should also add that, following on from what Mr. Oliver said and from what Mr. Wright said, that there's an awful lot of reasons to come to Brooke House, whether that's from a footballing perspective or indeed from a non-footballing perspective. And I think there's an excellent provision both on and off the football pitch and an excellent opportunity for students as well as for student athletes. Part of my role at the college begins quite early in the process in terms of admissions, in terms of liaising with the families involved, because as parents of elite student athletes, the path towards high-level football is not necessarily straightforward. And it's part of my job to talk to the families to make sure that the whole situation works well for them as a family. That may involve moving to the UK, moving family members to the UK. It may involve the education of older children as well, who may be in different countries. And it may also involve where a child has been developing football-wise previously to coming to Brooke House as well. The process is twofold from our point of view, in addition to the day-to-day practicalities that Niall talked about. I see our role as managing a transition in terms of taking a child at age 12, 13, 14, and then helping them to realize their potential and to be the best that they can be, and also to assist and support them with the strains and stresses and pressures that come with high-level football. So in terms of the physical nature of football, obviously in the UK, football is a very physical game, and therefore we have a strength and conditioning team who will support the physical development of our children and ensure that they're training in the right way. That doesn't mean necessarily lifting endless weights if you're a 14-year-old. It might be just using your own body weight in resistance training. Similarly, in understanding tactics at an advanced stage, and part of a reason for that is when children start to go in for trial situations at professional clubs, coaches at professional clubs will expect them to have a basic knowledge of tactics, and they'll expect them to be what we would deem coachable, which means that they can quickly take on board new ideas, they can understand formations, they can understand what the coach is trying to achieve, and they can translate that into a match situation. In terms of mental development, we, as Mr. Oliver mentioned, we have children who are playing at a very, very high level. We have a child currently with us who's actually playing for his full national team, not at age group level, but he's an established international player. He's done all of that by the age of 17. But international traveling for tournaments, dealing with agencies, dealing with contracts, it's a lot for young people to take on board and for young people to absorb. So there needs to be a support structure in place involving parents and involving the school and involving the child themselves, obviously. So I see it as a sort of a triangle in terms of the commitments of the school, the commitments of the parents, and also obviously the child has to commit to the program, has to commit to listening to what his coaches say, working with his coaches. And also on the mental side, we talk about trying to develop in-game management. So if you're losing 2-0, trying to work out why you're losing 2-0, helping the coach to turn that situation around, so you can read the game, understand the game, and manage the scenarios that the game throws up on a real-time basis, because that may be what sets one player apart from another in a very, very competitive environment. Obviously, the technical side of things, a lot of children will arrive with a high level of technical ability. We're an established football academy. It's unusual for parents to choose to send their child to a sports program if they don't have the basic skills and techniques that will equip them to perform well within that program. But obviously, by working with coaches on a day-to-day basis with a high degree of expertise, we hope that those technical skills will be further developed, and we hope that students will be like sponges and will absorb bits from individual coaches, bits from playing with other elite student athletes from other parts of the world, that those factors will combine in terms of bettering the child's technical ability, as well as the mental attributes, the tactical know-how, the physical attributes, which I spoke about previously. So our involvement begins before the children arrive at the school in terms of discussing, for example, how would someone get back for international fixtures if they're playing for their age group 11 at international level. It may talk about going on trials in due course at certain clubs and working with agents in terms of liaising on FIFA regulations and the rules and regulations and the laws, which are very, very strict with regard to the development of elite student athletes as well, who are still children. And obviously we have to remember that. So the process begins before the children really arrive at the school, extends through the excellent work of the coaches on a day-to-day basis while they're actually here. And then as Mr. Oliver was talking about in terms of academic progression, there is obviously also football progression and football exposure. And that is an area which myself and the manager of the Football Academy, the assistant manager of the Football Academy, will work very, very closely on. So how does a child get exposure, and how do they get the opportunity to progress? And in the corner of the picture there, you can see a young man who I met when he was 13, a boy called Petr Vitanov, a Bulgarian boy who came to Brooke House, who did GCSEs and A-levels, who subsequently went back to Bulgaria and is proudly holding the Bulgarian National Football Cup, the equivalent of the FA Cup in Bulgaria, as a player for Lokomotiv Plovdiv. So we have a rich history of helping children, as they become young adults, in terms of being placed in clubs overseas. And how do we do that? Well, firstly, the games that we play, because they are a high level at the school and we play in elite leagues, it's not uncommon for scouts from established European clubs to come and watch our games. We take the children on tours, probably once or twice per age group per year. We take the children on tours to European cities, European competitions, and give them the opportunity to get exposure that way. We organise as many fixtures as we possibly can with professional clubs, so that the profession, obviously, if you beat a professional club 3-0 and they don't choose to have a look at any of your players, then something's slightly wrong. So the exposure can come through playing local UK teams. Those games will be scouted as well. Through our competitive league structure, obviously we can't have fixtures at the minute because of the pandemic, and that is an issue within football in terms of trials and in terms of fixtures, because at the minute trials are very, very rare, if workable at all. Fixtures are not workable under the current government guidance in the UK. So it's a difficult scenario at the minute, but that is something that needs to be managed as well. And I'd say, actually, despite the fact that we haven't necessarily had fixtures this year, there's still been an awful lot of work going on with Football Academy staff and Football Academy management in terms of talking to the children about their intentions for the future, and also managing their expectations in terms of the fact that the fixtures are sort of outside the top 4 leagues in the UK are not actually taking place. Obviously, we also have a program of guest coaches. So we've been incredibly lucky in recent years with the services of our technical director, Mickey Adams, and with the support of a number of friends within football, that we've been able to welcome Gabriele Cioffi, who's now assistant manager of Udinese, who was manager of Crawley Town in the UK, Aldo Dolcetti, who was assistant manager under Max Allegri at Juventus, people of that caliber who've been able to come over and spend 3 or 4 weeks with us while they're in between jobs, while they're looking to improve their coaching, their English language. And so through the guest coaches, we find that doors can open, because obviously they go on to other jobs. They may remember particular players. They remember the program, certainly. And they may seek to bring children with them into professional football. So obviously, a final word on progression. Children are represented by agents. The young adults are represented by agents over the age of 18. So that's a process which needs to be managed and worked on with the family in terms of representation, who somebody will choose to represent them. And that's obviously something that is all part of the daily process of our lives in terms of working with representative bodies working with individual agents as the children try to get as the students try to get opportunities to further themselves in the game. You can see from the map that we've been successful with placements into Premier League clubs like Leicester City, some of the top ranked clubs in Europe, Benfica, Galatasaray, and we've been able to facilitate a significant number of children who've been able to make a living playing football, which, as Mr. Oliver was mentioning earlier, is everybody's dream, or certainly when we talk to the young student athletes at 13, that's certainly their dream. And we've been proud to be able to make those dreams come true in a significant number of cases. In terms of admissions, what we look for, whether you're an academic, whether you're choosing an academic route or an academic plus football route, obviously key elements of the admissions process are getting together school reports so we can assess the academic background of the children who will be coming into our care. We test and interview children prior to their arrival at the school, both from a diagnostic point of view in terms of assessing if there's areas of weakness, as Mr. Oliver was talking about earlier, assessing where there may be gaps in curriculum which haven't been covered, assessing English language ability. So in terms of applications for academic students, their previous school reports are very important. Their testing and their Skype interview, which we do with all children, are important in terms of assessing that they want to come to the UK for the right reasons, that they want to come to that they have good knowledge of the school, that they have good knowledge of what they can expect when they arrive. In addition to that, my colleague, the head of admissions, will work closely with the family in terms of looking at the best course combination, the best subject combinations to ensure that children are studying what they want to study and what they believe that they can succeed in. For the football academy, the process is enhanced by asking for children to submit highlights reels, videotapes of former games, a football CV, which is often very revealing in terms of where they've been playing, in terms of their height, their weight. They're often with attached statistics in terms of speed and agility. And should the college see everything coming together in a positive way in terms of the academic background and sporting background as relevant, we will then make an offer for the child to join the school. Further to the payment of a deposit, our admissions team will release a CAS if required for children who need entry clearance to study here in the UK. And obviously then there's a large amount of pre-arrival information and liaison, which is in terms of distributing information about what to expect, because the children are going to a new school, generally in a new country, with new teachers, and operating in a new language. So there's parents naturally seek considerable reassurance that they're doing the right thing, that things will go smoothly. And 90% of the time things do go smoothly. And when they don't, we make sure that everything gets put right. So the process of admissions is a detailed one, but not one that I think is unnecessarily cumbersome, and not one that we seek to elongate. We seek to process applications as swiftly as possible. We seek to get interviews and tests done at a reasonable pace, and advise appropriately. And that will then lead to the formalization of the offer and the delivery in due course of the necessary information for children to actually join the school. And we're delighted to say that despite the pandemic, the college has continued to operate safely and has continued to operate effectively in terms of improving young people's lives, which is our ultimate aim, and in terms of helping them to obtain their sustainable place, whether that be in professional sports, whether that be in a university environment. So we have stuck to our principles at the same time as introducing new standards of care and welfare with regard to the pandemic. So in terms of the applications, there's a lot of information on the website, and we hope that you do please look at our website following this presentation, and you will find on the website what you need to get the ball rolling. But initial interest will be registered, and then the real meat of the process in terms of individual counselling, personalising programs, and individual attention will then be ensured. So in terms of our fee structure, it's important, obviously, that we know what we're letting ourselves in for. So you can see there the college fees. There's obviously the football academy program has a slightly higher cost base than academic programs. So the football academy does come at a slightly increased fee. But I think that those who participate in the program do not question the value added that is delivered. And as Mr. Oliver was saying, the college has made great strides in terms of constantly improving its academic added value, to the extent whereby I believe if children choose to come to Brooke House on academic grounds or on sporting grounds, they're making the best possible decision that they can. You can see at the bottom the registration fee and the deposit. The deposit is what is required to secure one's place at the school. I think it's fair to say we are experiencing a high volume of applications at the minute. I think that there may be a post-COVID bounce in terms of the popularity of schooling abroad, and once we are able to travel, I anticipate that there will be a sort of a move to travel, and we're certainly seeing in terms of September. The head of admissions has advised me to say that she will be reviewing the number of spaces we do have available sometime towards the end of March. So should you be interested, I suggest you make contact sooner rather than later. There's nothing more disappointing than having to say to a parent, in August or July, to say, I'm sorry, we don't actually have any spaces at the college, because we want to be as accommodating, flexible as possible. But obviously our number on roll is limited by the Department for Education. So I would advise one to proceed as swiftly as possible. Finally, we just wanted to, where do we go from here? Please do contact the admissions department via the website. There's lots of materials available on that website, and if anybody who chooses to may enter a competition today to win a Leicester City shirt that we have. We are putting up for a draw on the basis that if you visit our admissions page and you register via an email to Wiley Wright, then as a small giveaway of a local token of our of Leicestershire, you have the opportunity to be the proud owner of a Leicester City home shirt, which is currently being worn with some success by the Leicester City players. So as they sit high up in the Premier League. So that's everything from me. Obviously, this is an open day. It's just a chance to find out a bit more about the school. We anticipate there being much more detailed conversations in due course with those of you who wish to take application further. But for now, that's everything. And I believe Mr. Wright is going to let us know if questions have been forthcoming, which we can address prior to us saying our goodbyes.
So no questions have come in.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, since there are no questions, if you do have any that occur to you later, do please email them through, and we will do our very best to get a response to you and reassure you of anything that might be giving you some concern. So to conclude today's open day, first I want to thank Wiley and Giles for their contribution to the proceedings, and I want to thank all of you who've attended for doing so. Hopefully, once we're all up and running again, you can come and visit us and see for yourselves what a wonderful, happy, safe and family-friendly school we have. I would encourage you to visit our website for further details, particularly the admissions page, where there's a great deal of information about joining us. There's an online application form and much else besides. Finally, I just have one point to make, which is keep well, stay safe in these challenging times. Don't forget to register for the Leicester City shirt. And I really do look forward to seeing as many of you as possible in September. Thank you very much indeed. Goodbye.